Hi, this is Bhupinder again, and this is now the second episode of The Stammering Life. In this video, I'm going to be talking about negative feelings after stammering. This is something that so many stammerers go through, and I still do feel a bit negative at times, but I've come up with a few really good tips to help you feel more positive after stammering. So most of the time I now feel pretty good after stammering, and that's because I've got into a habit of thinking that this is just how I talk. The main times I do feel a little bit awkward and embarrassed is always when I'm speaking to people that I don't know very well, and when I just don't get a chance to tell the other person that I have a stammer. So then I think, oh no, they probably think that I'm confused about something. In fact, the other day when I'm doing supply teaching at the moment, and the other day the teacher was talking me through a lesson plan and just asked me, if everything was okay, and I understood, and I was like, and I couldn't say, yep, that's all fine. And then she did look a bit concerned and started to go through certain bits again, even though I was completely clear on what I had to do, and I felt so embarrassed. And then I found it hard to even bring up the fact that I have a stammer, and I just felt like I didn't get a chance. So this brings me to tip number 1. Always tell the other person that you're speaking to that you have a stammer. Even if it's just in passing conversations, even if you're having a short conversation with someone who's not important in your life, I think it's still really important to let them know, just so that you don't feel any lingering feelings of embarrassment or shame after the conversation has taken place. You can do this by just mentioning after the stammer, oh, by the way, I've got a stammer, so this is just how I talk. And it can actually be a really good starting point for a conversation. In fact, I was at a school a few months ago, and I was speaking to the caretaker there, and I mentioned I had a stammer because I did quite a big stammer in when talking to him, and then he mentioned that he had a stammer when he was younger, and it just became a really nice conversation. Tip number 2. Think of something that went well, either in that conversation or just in your week in general. It's so easy to focus on the negatives of each day and of each conversation that we forget to see the good, and there is so much good in every day. And I think stammerers in particular are just so hard on themselves, me included, and we try so hard in each conversation that we have. There's so much to think about: breathing, talking slowly, all of these different elements that fluent speakers just don't even need to think about. And that's why I think it's just really important to congratulate ourselves, and to do this, personally, I find it really helpful to get a notebook and write down a few things that have gone well in my week, or even in a conversation I had where I stammered a lot, and that could be something like, eye contact or my smile, or even the fact that I carried on talking to someone despite stammering a lot, because we really deserve a big pat on the back for getting ourselves out there each day, no matter how we're feeling. So I have a gratitude journal, and this isn't just for gratitude, but it's also for like my small achievements each day. So a few things that I wrote down yesterday is that I'm grateful for my job. I really enjoy teaching, despite how I feel some mornings. I'm really grateful for the stammering community. And I had a really good laugh with my sister yesterday. So I put that I'm really grateful for her. And in terms of the small achievements and things that I found went well, I put I'm really proud that I continued a conversation with a staff member. I really like my smile and the fact that I always say what I think. I think that's really important. And I have a lot of empathy. And that leads me to my third tip. Remind yourselves after having a long block or a period where you're constantly repeating your sounds in a conversation, remind yourself this is just the way we talk. Similarly to how if somebody speaks with an accent or anything like that, or if they're different in any way at all, this is just how we're that little bit different. And the reason why we feel so negative at times is because we just don't hear enough people who sound like us in the everyday world, you know, especially in the media, on TV, you know, even in books and things. So that's why we feel so different. So just remind yourself that you're actually not that different at all, that there's a whole community of us out there, and that stammering is a valid, acceptable and natural way of speaking. So those are my tips on how to feel a bit more positive after stammering. It can be a really difficult thing to do, so if you do feel that little bit less negative the next time you stammer, then just congratulate yourself for that. It's really great. You know, stammering is such a difficult thing, so we really need to focus on every small achievement. Thank you. I hope that you enjoyed this video.